He's dealing with physical people. The spiritual science, they are okay. It's the physical side that has got a problem that needs to be resolved. So he has to be here physically. And to say, to add to what I'm saying, it is right there in the book to tell you that he says that I will come back. That is why it becomes necessary that he should come back to complete or to do the work. But if he doesn't come, the work is not done. And that is why it is necessary that he should also make it clear. In the book of Matthew, he says, until you see me with your very eyes, coming physically from the skies, like you see me go up to the skies, do not believe in otherwise. Do not believe any words that will come from whoever. But all these things has been ignored. And I find it very strange how the faith is still being established. How all these things are being, catching up to others. Is it because they are not reading? Is it because they are not catching up? Is it because when they read, someone comes quickly and take it out of their brains? Or somehow something else is used to make them think otherwise? Now, the topic that I want to the title that I'm explaining here is coming to that. I'm trying to draw us to that point. And whatever comes to take your eyesight or your mental knowledge of knowing this truth is what I'm saying. It's called unveiling the friendly trap, that friendly approach, that kind of religion or culture that keeps coming into our lives, that is so meaningless to our life, is what we need to recognize. And that is what it always come in the form of the human body. If, let's say, you are caught up with some other living organism, but mainly it's people like you and I, who, whether they are spirits influenced or whether they are physically influenced, I cannot really badge for them or say in your case. But in a general sense, I could say that it is coming on that level or on that method or that way. Of course, as I said, there are so much evil. You see the rise of evil that comes that people cannot recognize. Sometimes you may be not of that sense, but you will see that you have generated hatred and anger. And you have not thought it through where your anger may be coming from. But you have been trapped into that situation. You have got a solid base of influence to guide you in what you do. Now, whether what you do is evil or not, that is what you have to find out and dig out yourself. Now, am I always living my life in my own confinement? Am I living my life in what really concerns me and what my true responsibilities are? That is what we have to ask ourselves most of the time. But that is not the case. And so when that is not done, and you are not a little bit self-centered, what happens here is you become used by the evil forces in the witchcraft sense or in the wizard sense. The forces used you to pursue the aim that they want to pursue, to end the lives of others, the lives of the generation, the life of so much. But you may be having some benefits, which that is always the case, because there is something that always can be used to trap you, something to make you get caught up into doing whatever it is that you were doing that may be evil or may be good. I am in tune in this very video, or I am inspired by this very video because of an incident that happened in my life in the year 2003. 2003, somewhere when I was participating in the teachings of Baptist Church at Calvary Palace Street, Calvary Chapel to be precise. An incident that is so honest, is unexplainable. something regarding spiritual things that I've never thought or considered I would have gone through or experienced. With all the inner intuitions that was hitting me, the guide, the sort of prompting that was guiding, that was hitting me, I didn't fall for that, because I physically and see that I have to really have something more solid. In sometimes I don't know what solid, but solidness in the physical sense is the thing being right there, something that you can feel and touch, something that you can base your fact and truth on, something that is an evidence, a real evidence, in order for one to do things. So whatever intuition I get, whatever prompt I got inwardly, wasn't very much important to me, that I have to follow through to sort of go through, end up in the experience, the terrible and bad and evil experience that I went through, that took so much out of my life. And it all began because of a simple words of letting God be God. Now, letting God be God is quite a very solid and powerful words, somehow, in so many sense. Now, why do I say that? The manner by which the words came forth, the impact that the word had on me and those around me, the sort of impression that was in the words, the signs that reflected out of these words, the sort of demonstration or the sound of it suggested anger, suggested something which had to be seriously seen or being sort of considered by anybody who heard it, and any common sensible person who heard it must really thought it through. And actually, that is my inspiration. That is what caused me to seek. Now, my only request to this instant or serious state of voice that came out, that I found myself being the tool or the instrument to demonstrate, to be the voice, or to be used for such kind of words. I see myself in this situation as my only quest or responsibility, to my only quest to sort of draw or sort of carry out a responsibility, is to put the question out to whatever it is that made that happen. And that is, of course, what we say, my question is to God. Who else can it be to? Or to the spirit that caused, or that sort of came out to voice out that situation, is prove yourself. Prove yourself of what you are. To me, because I cannot find ways to prove that neighbor to that person. But I can only prove myself to to anybody just as I am. But as to any other living being, it's not my place, or I might not able have the ability to prove that person. And so in that sense, when it comes to God, if God has anything, it's God who has to prove himself to us, for us to know that he is God. Or else there is the chances of a competitiveness among probably spirits that may be standing in the way, or may bring confusion to the human world or the human thoughts. And this is something that many occasions spiritualists or people of this sect group, cultural or religious, have always emphasized on. And so every group who believes in whatever they believe in really make a claim to prove that what they believe is right. And they prove their rights of that. So that tells us that if somebody was to, let's say, confront you friendly, confront you in a nice, humble way, What is that person trying to do? That person is trying to convince you that whatever he is saying is